Hello, everybody. Today we'll be talking about the 4 secrets to overcoming resentment in marriage. Resentment is defined as the bitter indignation of being treated unfairly. The bitter indignation of being treated unfairly. Resentment makes you bitter towards your husband. Resentment makes you bitter towards your wife. How do you overcome this spirit of rage and resentment towards your significant other? Through these 4 secrets, friends, you are going to understand the secret of overcoming resentment. My point number 1, friends, is identify. Identify what makes you bitter, what makes you resentful in that relationship. The research says 80% of thoughts are negative and 95% is repetitive. So in order for you to actually get rid of resentment, the first step is to identify what makes you bitter. Was it what they said 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Was it what they did during dinner? Was it spending money in an unwise way? Was it making investments that were not wise? What is it that made you bitter? Was it your husband looking at another girl? What made you resentful? Did you catch your wife cheating? What makes you resentful? And how can you overcome that and be like Christ in your relationship? The first thing, identify it. Identify the root cause of resentment in your marriage. Because if you are resentful, friends, you will never be on one page with your significant other, and that will eventually lead to divorce. It will eventually lead to crisis and problem in your relationship. So identify. The point number 2, friends, which we underestimate, is pray. Once you saw the problem, you identified the problem, you realize that this is the trigger, this is the root cause of the problem, the next thing you should do is pray. Pray to God about it. When you were exchanging vows at the altar, you were doing it before God and saying, come into my relationship, establish us in this marriage. So pray to God about it. Pray to God as to how you should approach the problem. Pray to God as to what you should say to your significant other about the situation to dismiss the spirit, this feeling, this emotion of resentment. And the third point after you've prayed, friends, is remove. Remove that bitter spirit. Remove that thought in your mind that causes the spirit of resentment, that makes you resentful towards your significant other. And that might require forgiveness. That might require saying, guess what? I've not been a perfect person in some areas of my life. And because I know about this missing link, I will forgive you. I will remove this bitterness out of my heart, because unforgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. So I will remove this bitterness, this resentment out of my heart. And once you do, the last thing, friends, is replace. Say replace. Replace. You replace that bitter thought, that negative thought, that 80% of negativity that is in the roller coaster in your mind, that is so repetitive. You say, I am going to replace this bitter thought with positive thought, this negative thought with positive thought. The way I feel about my husband, the way I feel about my wife, I will replace it with more positive and uplifting thoughts about my better half, about my significant other. It might be you remembering the time you guys met. How amazing was it? Remember the time you guys exchanged vows. Remember the time you guys got engaged. Remember the time you went out for honeymoon. What are those beautiful moments that you shared together? You bring them back to memory. Start casting a better vision of your future. Seeing you and your spouse doing amazing things. The dream and the vision of this is going to be replaced with that negative resentment. Whatever they did, however it made you feel, you will start replacing that with this beautiful, amazing future you guys can create together if the spirit of resentment is dealt with. So, friends, I just want to reiterate what I said, that the first thing you need to do is identify. The second thing you need to do is pray. The third thing you need to do is remove. And the last thing, friends, is replace. And we heard in the Bible about a story Jesus was actually illustrating, saying, when a demon leaves an individual, and this demon actually goes out, your body is free, the demon has been cast out, and you are free of that demon. If you do not replace all those negative thinking that brought about that demon in your life, if that was the case, then the enemy is going to come back. That demon will come back. And if she finds out that the house is not kept clean, the devil will go back, bring now 7 of his other friends, and they will come and dwell in you, and you will become worse than you were when the devil was being cast out. So you have to replace your negative thinking with positive thinking. And I assure you, if you do this, you will start loving your husband more. You will start loving your wife more. A beautiful story I read in a book. It talks about a woman that was feeling so terrible towards the man. She was so resentful towards the husband. She even prayed that the husband would die. Everything was wrong in that marriage. One day, this woman started asking herself the question, why? Because she identified the root cause of this resentment. And then the next thing she did, she prayed to God. She prayed about this bitterness. Now, what happened? She removed that resentment. She had the ultimate task of replacing it. And what did she do? She started seeing the best in her husband. She started visualizing the best out of her husband. They were not eating together anymore. She would cook food and leave it at the table. The man won't eat it. It was all fighting and fighting. And one day, as this woman kept visualizing, seeing the best out of that man, she will literally sit down and visualize the husband on a specific chair in their living room, communicating with her, and they are having an amazing time. This woman prayed consistently and took action by replacing the negative thoughts. And one day the husband shows up, dresses like she visualized, sat on that chair, and they were communicating and having an amazing time, reconciling their differences in their relationship. This can be your story. This can be your story. And that is how you overcome resentment, by replacing it with more and better positive thought. I hope you found this video resourceful. Let me know which of these points resonate with you. Drop that in the comment section. We would like to know you. We will want to understand your struggle. I want to coach you. I want to come alongside you and help you navigate the struggles you are going through in your marriage. Call me. Until next time, remain blessed.